For 6, solving equations by factoring when we have a times x squared plus bx plus c when c is positive. So when we are doing these, we're factoring. We want to look at the c. Sometimes if the c is positive, sometimes it's going to be negative. When it's positive, the constant terms of the factors have the same signs. When it's negative, those signs are going to be different. So if we look at example 1, we are factoring x squared plus 11x plus 30. So we want to find the factors of 30 that add up to be a positive 11. So we have 1 and 30, that's 30. Then 2 times 15, 3 times 10, and 5 times 6. Well, if we add 5 plus 6, that's going to give us 11. So when we factor this, we're going to have x, because we're splitting up that x squared, times, or x plus 5 times x plus 6. And we can always check our work by foiling this out. So x times x is x squared, x times 6 is 6x, 5 times x is 5x, and 5 times 6 is 30. So if we combine our like terms here, we have x squared plus 11x plus 30, and that's exactly what we started with, so we know that our answer of the x plus 5 times x plus 6 is correct. If we look at example A for 2, we have x squared plus 8x plus 15. So what are the factors of 15 that add up to be an 8? We have 1 and 15. We also have 3 and 5. If both the 3 and the 5 are positive and we add them, that gives us the 8. So this is going to be x plus 3 times x plus 5. For B, we have x squared minus 10x plus 24. So the factors of 24, we have 1 and 24, 2 and 12, 3 and 8, 4 and 6. If we added these to get us to a negative 10, both of our signs would have to be negatives, because a negative times a negative is a positive, and a negative plus a negative is a negative. So the one that's going to give us the negative 6 is the negative 4 minus 6, which is negative 10. So this is going to give us x minus 4 times x minus 6. If we look at our next example, C, we have y squared plus 14y plus 40. So again, we're going to find the factors of that 40. We have 1 and 40, 2 and 20, 4 and 10. Well, 4 and 10 is equal to 40, so we don't have to go any further. This is going to be y plus 4 times y plus 10. For D, we have y squared minus 11y plus 18. So find the factors of 18. You got to think that 11y is negative. So when we find our factors of 18, there's going to be a negative times a negative. It's going to give us a positive 18, but a negative plus a negative is going to give us that negative 11. So we have negative 1, negative 18, negative 2, negative 9. Well, negative 2 minus 9 is negative 11. So this is going to give us the y minus 2 times y minus 9. For example E, if we can get to it, there we go. We have x squared minus 10x plus 14. So we want to find the factors of 14 that add up to be a negative 10. So we have 1 and 14. Remember, these are both going to be negatives. We also have negative 2 and negative 7. Those are the only factors of 14. And this is going to give us a negative 15. This would give us a negative 9. Neither of these are going to give us a negative 10. So this is prime. If we are solving these, we want to make sure that our equations are first set equal to 0. So if we're looking at example 3, we have x squared minus 8x is equal to negative 12. We want to move that 12 over by adding it to both sides. It doesn't combine with any term on the top there, so we're going to have x squared minus 8x plus 12 is equal to 0. So again, find the factors of 12 that add up to be a negative 8. They're both going to have to be negative. We have negative 1, negative 12. Nope. Negative 2, negative 8, or negative 6, I'm sorry. That is going to give us a negative 8. So this is going to factor out to be x minus 2 times x minus 6 is equal to 0. From here, we're going to set each set of parentheses equal to 0 and solve for x for both of them. So we have x minus 2 is equal to 0, as well as x minus 6 is equal to 0. We're going to solve for x, move the 2 over. We have x is equal to 2, move the 6 over by adding it. We're going to have x is equal to 6. So we have two solutions here. One of the x is equal to 2, the other of the x is equal to 6. You can either give me both of these as your solution or give me the solution set of 2, negative 6. Either one of those is acceptable. For example 4, we have x squared plus 8x is equal to negative 15. So we're going to move that negative 15 over by adding it to both sides. And this is going to leave us with x squared plus 8x plus 15 is equal to 0. Find the factors of the 15 that add up to be the 8. So we're going to have 1 and 15, 3 and 5. Well, 3 and 5 equal 8. So this will split up to be x plus 3 times x plus 5 is equal to 0. From here, remember, set each parentheses equal to 0, so x plus 3 is equal to 0, as well as x plus 5 is equal to 0. Solve for x, move the 3 over by subtracting it on both sides. We have x is equal to negative 3. Move the 5 over from subtracting it from both sides. You have x is equal to negative 5. So again, you can give me x is equal to negative 3, x is equal to negative 5, or you can give me the solution set of negative 5, negative 3. When you're giving that solution set, you want to make sure that those numbers are going in numerical order from least to greatest as well. If we look at example 5, we have x squared plus 15x is equal to negative 54. So we are going to move that 54 over by adding it to both sides. We're going to have x squared plus 15 plus 54 is equal to 0. So the factors of 54 that equal 15. Your factors of 54 are 1 and 54, 2 and 27, 3 and 324 is 18. We also have 6 and 9. Well, 6 and 9 is going to give us 15 when we add them. So this is going to be x plus 6 times x plus 9 is equal to 0. So from there, set the x plus 6 equal to 0, set the x plus 9 equal to 0, and solve for both of them. The x plus 6, we're going to subtract it from both sides. So x is equal to negative 6, and the x plus 9, we're going to subtract 9 from both sides to get x is equal to negative 9. If you were to put this in your solution set, you'd have the solution set of negative 9, negative 6. For example 6, we have x squared minus 13x is equal to negative 12. If we move the 12 over, we're going to add it to both sides and get x squared minus 13x plus 12 is equal to 0. We're going to find the factors of 12 that equal negative 13, so it's going to be negative 1, negative 12. So this is going to be x minus 1 times x minus 12 is equal to 0. Set each part equal to 0, so x minus 1 is equal to 0, x minus 12 is equal to 0. Solve for x for each, add the 1 to both sides. You have x is equal to 1. Add the 12 to both sides. You have x is equal to 12. So that's the solution set of 1 and 12. I would like to look at some extra practice problems. So if we look at example 14, we have x squared plus 8x plus 7. So your factors of 7 are 1 and 7. Those equal up to be a positive 8. So this is going to be x plus 1 times x plus 7. For 17, we have y squared plus 7y plus 12. So your factors of 12, we have 1 and 12, 2 and 6, 3 and 4. The 3 and 4 equal your 7, so this is going to give us y plus 3 times y plus 4. Oops. We look at 20. We have r squared plus 9r plus 20. So your factors of 20, you have 4 and 5 that are going to add to give you the 9. So this is going to be r plus 4 times r plus 5. For 23, we have y squared plus 25y plus 24. Your factors of 24 that add up to be 25 are 1 and 24. So this is going to be y plus 1 times y plus 24. If we look at 15, we have z squared minus 6z plus 5. So your factors of 5 that add up to be negative 6 are negative 1, negative 5. So this is going to be z minus 1 times z minus 5. For 18, we have c squared minus 15c plus 14. So your factors of 14 that add up to be negative 15 are negative 1, negative 14. So this is going to give us c minus 1 times c minus 14. For 21, we have s squared minus 12s plus 20. The factors of 20 that add up to be negative 12 are negative 2, negative 10. Oops, negative 12. So this is going to be s minus 2 times s minus 10. And for 24, we have x squared plus 11x plus 28. So your factors of 28 that add up to be 11 are 4 and 7. That's going to give us the 11. So this is going to be x plus 4 times x plus 7. For 16, we have p squared minus 5p plus 6. So the factors of 6 that add up to be negative 5 are negative 2, negative 3. So this is going to be p minus 2 times p minus 3. For 19, we have u squared plus 11u plus 18. So your factors of 18 that add up to be 11 are 2 and 9. So this is going to be u plus 2 times u plus 9. For 22, they give us x squared minus 14x plus 24. So your factors of 24 that add up to be negative 14. If you don't know off the top of your head, do them. Negative 1, negative 24. Negative 2, negative 12. Well, that's going to give us a negative 14. So we're going to have x minus 2 times x minus 12. And then our last one, 25, we have n squared minus 17n plus 30. So again, do the same thing. Factors of 30 that add up to be negative 17. We have negative 1, negative 30, negative 2, negative 15. That's going to give us the negative 17. So we're going to have n minus 2 times n minus 15.